Hello there, crypto friends. First, thank you for your nice comments. Today, let's start with some good news. Then we will look at a couple of future predictions. And then we move on to my October outlook for Bitcoin. But before I forget, my next video will be about Shiba. I got a lot of requests, but also I found the correct date and time, which is rare. I'm not sure when it will be ready, but I think in the next couple of weeks. First, the good news. What is a solar return chart? It's a map that shows the general picture for the next 12 months. We erect this map on someone's birthday to look the year ahead. On your screen, you see Bitcoin's chart that's on January 3rd, 2025, you see the sun returning to its natal position. That's the blue arrow. That's when we celebrate our birthday. There are many angles in this chart, some good, some not so good. But Venus being together with Bitcoin's Venus, that's very, very fortunate. That's the green arrow on the map. You see Venus on the 0 degree is exactly with Bitcoin's Venus. That's the black Venus. So next year looks pretty good for Bitcoin. Remember last spring, that was a time that ChatGPT became popular. Pluto just moved into Aquarius. I mentioned that in my March video that we're getting a glimpse of the future in March. But my friends, if you think you've seen new inventions and innovations last year, you ain't seen nothing yet. And I'm saying this because Uranus enters Gemini next year in July, and it will be in a very favorable aspect to Pluto just for a couple of months, July and August. So during these 2 months, we get a glimpse of what's coming ahead in the near future. Although Pluto-Uranus are in an auspicious aspect, for Bitcoin it shows some kind of trouble. And I'm saying this because the planet of the unexpected, sudden changes and disruption, Uranus, next July will be in a challenging aspect to Bitcoin's Venus. That's a red flag. So we're going to watch very closely this period. The other day, I saw a documentary about quantum computers. The capabilities of these computers are amazing, but also a bit scary. One thing that worries me is that one day, that's what they said in the documentary, that one day they will have the ability to break up every code on the internet. So what do you think, guys? Do you think Bitcoin is at risk? I'm really curious to hear what you think, so please leave me a comment. And not only that, there is a lot more. In fact, there are going to be so many changes in the world starting from next summer. The outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter are changing signs. Also, Pluto moved into Aquarius. But all these outer planets to change signs at about the same time, this is a very rare event. We never experienced this before, and I'm pretty sure that we're in a transition period now, moving into a new era. Unfortunately, there are periods during the next 3 months that show intensity, conflict. Maybe this is also related to the US elections. I will talk more about this in my next video though. There is so much to say about this big shift, but it will take so long to explain all this. But as you know, there are so many videos on YouTube that you can watch if you want to find out. What stands out in the month of October is on the 2nd, the new moon eclipse in Libra, and the last days of the month with Mars, Pluto being opposite to each other. That points out to tension. But eclipses symbolize major changes in our lives. This eclipse shows a new beginning, but also success. It's a new moon eclipse, but because it's together with the South Node, there is a need to release, let go of something first before we start something new. especially if you're born around the 2nd of October. This eclipse has your name on it. Now, in the world astrology, a possible scenario could be the fall of a well-known leader and a rise of a new one. The events of an eclipse, they could occur on the day of the eclipse, but sometimes even 2 weeks before and up to 6 months after the eclipse. The sun in world astrology represents leaders. So eclipse is eclipsing also, but we'll see. I've heard something today that the leader of Hezbollah was killed, but I'm pretty sure we're going to hear a lot more. Last eclipse on the 17th of September, that eclipse showed issues with water. If you remember, I mentioned that. And around those days, many countries in Europe, and not only, were underwater. So let's look at Bitcoin. I guess you know by now that my predictions is not a financial advice. In case you are curious to see what's going on in your life, your finances, your career, your love life, you know I do personal predictions. I'm also getting ready for my next 3-month Bitcoin future predictions. I lowered the price so it's more affordable now. But if you like to find out more, my email is in the description. As I mentioned in my previous video, the last days of September showed a correction. It makes sense after China's pump. I believe many will sell. Until the 3rd of October, the price looks like it's going to consolidate, but after the 3rd, the price starts to look better. Actually, after the 7th, the price of Bitcoin looks like it's going up. For the next few days, there are auspicious aspects like Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter angles that show positive time for the markets in general, and that's for the next few days after the 7th. But around the 11th, a correction is very possible again for a few days. And with Neptune in a difficult aspect to Bitcoin's Venus, I'm not 100% sure about that, but it could be a big drop around that time. The same situation goes for the market in general, because from around the 11th until the 16th, the Venus-Uranus opposition points out to sudden change and instability in general in the markets. After the full moon on the 17th, actually the week after the 18th looks very good and auspicious for Bitcoin. Be cautious though a bit with your over-optimism these days, because the last days of the month looks like it's going to be a correction. As I told you in the world map, it looks like tension is building around that time. So it's an explosive energy actually, Mars opposing Pluto, and that will continue until, they continue also for the first days in November. At the same time, Mercury, the planet of news and information, makes many angles to Bitcoin's planets. So that's at the end of the month. So we're going to hear many unexpected news about Bitcoin, I guess. But with Neptune aspect, be aware that there is also a lot of misinformation, sorry about that, around these days. So that's it, my friends. I really wish you a nice month. If you enjoy my video, please press the like button. And if you want to thank me, you can buy me a coffee with the super thanks. I think it starts like $2 USD. So I'll see you soon. Next, as I mentioned, is a video about SHIB. Take care. Thank you and bye.